morning.
Hello.
Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
And this is the weekend workout. With our body weight, we'll start to warm up and learn to play with our strength and start your weekend with mobility, fun, maybe coffee, but we'll start on the floor. Take your time. There'll be no rules throughout, just gentle suggestions for wellness and strength. So maybe take your time coming out of your lunge.
General suggestions.
Take care of your jewelry. Keep it on, take it off, whatever works for you. Fingertips, let's just find casual fingertips to the floor, then that callus line, then the wrists. We'll come back to a more specific wrist warm-up, but for now, make sure that feels safe and strong. At the head neck, look forward casually, extending on the neck, and then tuck a chin, pushing energy out of the crown of your head as you slightly flex. Repeat one more time, low energy, just to check in, the extension looking forward, and then the flexion looking between the hands. Now with the rib cage, lightly retract those shoulder blades. Then do a very, very small cat, maybe even call it the kitten, where the low back stays the same and you flex the rib cage onto the hips. Then from there, extend the heart or the sternum forward, minimizing the extension of the neck. Keep looking between the hands. One more time, a small shape is a good shape here. Keep the shoulder blades tight together and flex through the rib cage, stability through the low back. Then extend forward. Repeat in the low back. Lauren's side profile again will be the best. And as I said low back, I actually meant the hips. The low back stays the same, but from here, can you tuck posteriorly the hips, meaning bringing the front of the hips to the belly button? Then tip anteriorly in the hips as you tip your tailbone towards the ceiling. Repeat one more as you tuck under and then tip back. In our splits position coming up, we want to prioritize that extension or the anterior tip of the hip. Take a second off those wrists and just push away. Add a little bit of a shakeout from here. And next, Lauren, take us into our first splits drills for today.
Okay, we'll come down into our splits, as mentioned. Come on down. Find a place that's comfortable for you. It doesn't have to be extreme right now. And then let's lift our butt up and even try to put it a little bit behind it. You might have to physically move it. You might have to rock a bit to sit on those sit bones there. Once we're seated on those sit bones, we'll either point our feet or flex them. Don't be halfway in between. With a light grip on the floor and your shoulders lightly retracted, we did some extension flexion of the head neck. Let's now do some rotation. So keeping those blades pulling together, looking over your shoulder, and then back to center, and looking over your shoulder, and back to center. Repeat one more time. Did that rib cage shoulder blade complex stay stationary? And it's only the head moving. And then back to center. Now with that light grip on the floor, let's revisit that rib cage again. So with that chin tucked, we'll gently flex or round forward, but keep those blades lightly retracted. And then once flexed, think about extending that heart chest forward. Keep that chin lightly tucked as to not do this through your head neck. Repeat one more time. Light round or flex of the cage, and then gently extend forward. From that nice extended position, let's now do some leg business here. So with our extended leg, I want you to drive that heel into the floor and start pulling that heel towards your butt. Nothing really moves. Your knee might come off the floor a little bit, but it's not bending yet. For 3, 2, and then relax. Repeat the same thing on the other side. Pull on that heel. The knee isn't bending yet, but you're creating tension in the adductor and the hamstrings, and then relax. And now this time, we're gonna pull so much that we actually start bending that leg and bringing it into that hip flexion position and holding for 3, 2, and then force that leg away from center, pressing it out. Same thing on the other side.
That was the rubber floor making that sound.
That was the rubber floor.
Promise.
Now, pull on that heel, dragging that heel in towards that hip flexion position, and hold for 3, 2, and then gently press that leg away. Maybe that gives you a little bit more room to open up. Point those toes with a nice long spine, light hinge forward. Take a breath. Maybe rock a little side to side. Nice extended spine, tailbone stays long. And then we'll press out of that. Bring those legs together.
And back to a quick wrist warm up here. Finding the fingertips, callus lines, and then hands. Feel that flow through the wrists for safety and strength in perhaps your handstand. From here, do a first knuckle push-up. Keep the knuckles and fingers heavy, elbows straight, and slowly return down. Repeat again for 3 or 4 more repetitions and build that nice strength on the up and the control of that cushion on the down. Last 1 or 2. And then on the last one here, let's flick the floor away, extending those hips through in our posterior tuck. At the wrists next, turn them to the side. Still land fingertips, calluses, full hands. I'll be pressing to my right as my weight shifts to the left. Then from here, I'll push to the left, turning my fingertips white as my weight or transfers to the other side. Repeat again, press one way, go the other. I think of a hockey net goalie. I think of a goalie in a hockey net, pushing off one post and going the other way. Return to center, use both hands to push and flick away those wrists with a little bit of a shake. Let's return to the fingertips, then the callus lines, then the hands. In that underhand grip, lightly at first, but press all 10 fingertips into the ground. And then ease off that tension, relax. Repeat, press. Aim to create tension between the fingertips and the floor, and then bend the elbows, minuscule as it may be, and then flick the floor away. Tuck those hips under, extending through. It's snowing outside, it's pretty. Let's get going on our workout, Lauren. What's up next?
Well, we're gonna go from the snow quickly to the sea with the mer person. From snow to the sea, even though it might snow in the sea. Maybe not the sea, the ocean. Okay, our mer person today / 90-90. So with our leg out, our knee in front of our hip, our shin in line with that knee, and our toe pointed or flexed. I'm gonna do pointed because we're handstanding today. That other leg is long, reaching out the side. Again, 90 degrees at the back, toe pointed. From here, let's just gently sit up tall for 1 second, and extend that back hip forward. And as you push and squeeze that back hip forward, let's push this front knee gently into the floor. Feel that drive forward, that push down, and then lightly relax. Now let's try that one more time. Push that back hip forward, push that front knee down, and hold. And then keep that tension as you come down to find the elbow. Once you're down there, if you've lost a little bit of that tension, reestablish it by pushing that hip forward again and that front knee down. Let's take that top arm across our chest and we'll add in our rotations here. So with the back hip remaining extended, head is going to look at the elbow on the floor, and then that upper body will rotate towards the floor. Let's keep that shoulder lightly retracted, and then our head will open up to the ceiling, and the shoulders, chest, rib cage will follow, opening up. As you're here, squeeze the back cheek. Repeat one more time. Head to hand on the floor, and then that upper body rotates closed, and then head rotates open, and upper body rotates open with that back hip extended. Come to neutral, press the floor away. See how that feels without hands for a second. Can you stay square to the front? Are you a bit tippy? How does this side feel? And then without, however you'd like to, flip around and let's do the same thing on the other side. So that 90 position again, knee is in front of hip, shin is parallel with that knee, leg out to the side, knee bent out the back. Right now we're sitting up tall and we're just extending that back hip. So squeezing and extending that back hip forward and pushing that front knee down and holding, and then lightly relax. And repeat again, extend that back hip, push that front knee down. Start trying to stay square forward with our upper body. Now from here, we'll find our elbow, keeping that tension in the back hip and that front knee heavy. With that top arm across our chest and our shoulder blades lightly retracted, our head will look at the elbow on the floor, and then the ribs will rotate, closed. Head will open up, shoulders will open up. Repeat again, back hip remains extended, head looks at hand on the floor. Close up. Breathe, and then head looks open, shoulders look open, push that back hip forward as you press up to that sit. Try it without hands on this side. Feel different, feel the same. Square up to the front of that room. Keep that front knee heavy. Whew, and then relax. I think from here we'll be rolling.
We're rolling on our backside, making snow angels or rolling snowballs. We'll start with the hands in the T position, arms extended at the side. I'll be moving to my right, so that means I'll take my left hand and move it towards my hip along the floor. Then reaching towards the ceiling, roll, minimizing the effort through the legs, and prone at the end. Take that same hand, look at it as it goes to the hip. Now reach to the foot and then across the body, back to your backside. Other side, same thing. Take that other hand, in this case my right, to the hip. Then across the body, look at it with the head neck as you roll, minimize the effort through the legs, end up prone or face down. Then look at that hand as it goes to the hip and reach away from the shoulder to keep the shoulder low and strong. Repeat one more time. Same thing with the hands. Left hand to the hip. Reach across the body. Roll to prone, face down. Now go the other hand. Look at the right hand to the hip. Reach it, reach it, reach it. Roll it to the backside. Return where we came from. So that's my right hand to the hip. Reach across the body and roll. And then the left hand to pick it up. Left hand to hip. Reach down to our backside. Let's repeat the same rolling patterns with our legs. So bend a knee, flexing towards the chin. Then extend. How are we doing for rim, Lauren? Sorry. Flex the knee, extend the leg. Let the weight of that leg carry yourself over. Sweep the hip with the arm, ending up prone. Then bend the knee like a scorpion tail.
Same one.
Same leg, kicking the ceiling back and returning to your backside. Repeat on the other side. It's a knee bend, hip flex. Then a knee extend, wake up those hamstrings. The leg falls across the body, the arm sweeps down, and we end up prone. And then it's a scorpion tail, a hip extension, reach, roll, arm crosses the body. One more time, adding on, we'll go knee bend, leg extend, across the body, rolling to front. Then going in the same direction, switch your legs. So that's my right leg, extending the hip like a scorpion tail, reaching to the ceiling and to our back. Then same leg, it's that right leg that flexes on the hip, extends on the knee, and crosses the body. Roll to the front. And last time with the knee bend, other leg now extend, reach and roll to your backside. From here, let's revisit those wrists. Anyhow that works for you, come back and start on those wrists here. From here, little quick shoulders though. So screw in the wrists. How do they feel from the first set here? Mine feel more open and more grounded. Continue to turn those fingertips white. At the shoulder blades, retract, meaning pull together or squeeze a pencil. Then elevate, shrugging your shoulders like you don't know. Then keeping the spine long, press into the floor, protracting that shoulder, and then finish pulling down to the hips, scapular depression. Then return to a retracted shoulder. Once more in the other direction, keep those elbows straight, but pull the shoulder blades down to the hips. Then protract, blades wrapping around the rib cage. Then elevate the shoulders like you don't know. Finish in that retraction, and then push the floor away. Shake out those wrists and check in. Lunges, Lauren.
Lunges.
Lunges time.
Sandwich. Let's bring our knee up front into our lunge position. We're going to make this a little more advanced here today to really get fired up and warmed up. Before we do that, let's push that front leg down and pull it in and extend that back hip forward. So we have the scissors in our hips of the pull in and the press forward for 3, 2, and then lightly relax that tension. Let's gather it back up by tucking under that back hip, pulling that front leg in and holding for 3, 2. Now keep that tension, but change the direction by pushing forward and back. And as you do that, you might get to that hover position. Can we hold this hover position here? So again, though, still that front leg is pulling in, your back hips extended, and your shoulders are over top of your hips. soft landing. Now, with the knee back on the floor, let's take our front foot and get to that demi-point raise. We're on the balls of our feet and our toes are in contact, our ankles in line, and then we'll drive that heel down. Either stay here, or let's try that from the hover. That back hip will extend, we'll hover lightly off the floor, and then can we find a balance on that front foot and hold. Then push the heel down and hold, and try that one more time. Come up to the toe ball, and then heel down, land softly. Whew. Pull that leg underneath, and we'll repeat on the other side. Knee comes up front, other leg up front. We have the leg right in front of us, that back toe tucked, the back hip scooped under, the front leg pulling in. The scissor, push, pull for 3, 2, relax, but stay. Whew, gather that up again. Drive under on that back cheek, pulling the femur towards the back wall and that front leg. Now we'll change the tension, pushing forward and back, which will allow us to get to that hover position. Hovered again, square to the front of the room, back hip extended, shoulders over hips, and then soft landing. We'll revisit that front foot demi-point. So from here, pushing into the floor and finding that toe, and then drive the heel down. Repeat that one more time. Feel that hamstring pull your leg off the floor in that calf, and then drive the heel down. Either stay on the floor and repeat, or come to that hover position. And then from here, find that rise. And then find the heel, and find the rise, and find the heel, and slowly descend. Whew, we'll bring that leg underneath. Give it a little shake.
And keeping things rolling along. Opening up the hands in that wide position. This time, we'll do our judo style roll. For that, get some space. And again, it's the same commitment to fingertips, callus lines, full hands. The hand could then be turned up at the hip. I'm showing that with my left hand turned up and my left hip. Then looking to the armpit first with the head neck. Continue the flexing or the rolling pattern to get the shoulder blade towards the floor. Take a breath. And out. Then press the floor away. Establish those hands again in that wide position. And same thing other side. My right hand is turned up at my right hip. I'm looking to my left armpit and looking through, aiming to connect my shoulder to the floor. Push through to that wide Y shape with the hands. The extension of this is to turn up, to look, to get the shoulder, to push ourselves over and through. Go for it, Lauren. Take your time as you do this. There's no need to rush into this movement. And again, a useful cue could be go as far as you know you could come home safe. So if we can get the shoulder to the floor, the next phase is to use the legs to get the bum over the head. Just try it a little bit, then come home and maybe repeat on the other side. I was so quiet there, Lauren didn't even know she was doing it, which is beautiful. You want nice, supple, quiet movements here. Get your bum over and pull yourself on through. Try that once or twice more. Tuck a chin, roll over the shoulder blade, protecting that neck with that nice chin tuck. Lauren likes finishing in her low squat. I like finishing in my little tall sit here. Perhaps one more repetition, and we're done that for today. There we go.
Are we up or are we down?
There we go. We're gonna get up. And we have our balance aids, being our chair in the back corner there, and our bar on the wall. Let's get into a little bit of hips to check in with those splits a little bit later. Start by tucking in those shirts and other performance-enhancing tips that you may have, but pull up to the ankle. Standing leg. It's tucked under. Elevated leg. It's tipped back, just like Lauren said in the lunge. From here, open the knee to the side. From there, bring the foot to forward. Hold. Now look where the knee is. It's probably on that 45-degree angle away from the body. Keep the knee where it is and internally rotate on the hip. Holding for time, politely cramping the hip, and repeating to the front. The knee stays stationary, the foot goes up or towards your midline, and then the same thing. Knee staying stationary, hip staying level, politely cramp that lateral hip as we internally rotate on the hip. One more time. If that's where the cramp is on that one, right now, the cramp could be perhaps on that underside. We'll go one more time on the internal rotation, then connect the foot to the knee, pull the knee back to center, and press down, finishing nice and tall. Add a very gentle shake in there. Repeating on the other side.
Ins and outs.
Ins and outs. Stand tall. Tuck under both hips. But as soon as you start to lift, think compressing that femur in the hip as to tip back towards cow. Stay low. Open the knee to the side. Then bring the foot forward. So that the knee now is pointing towards 10 o'clock if we're looking at midnight straight ahead.
Or 2 o'clock.
Those diagonals. From here, internally rotate on the hip, making sure we avoid the hike. Keep those hips nice and level. Same thing on the other effort, or the other side of the joint. The external rotation, bring the foot towards forward. Now the knee stays in the same place as we internally rotate on the hip. Cramping up, politely cramps. One more time to the front. Hold for about 3 seconds here, standing, cramping leg. Then one more time, that internal rotation. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Connect the foot to the standing leg knee. Pull to center. Press down and stay tall. Hip, hip. Hooray. We're done that one for today. Lauren's going to take things over and warm up that core. And then we'll come back to those splits.
We're going to walk ourselves out to a plank. We'll hold our plank position for a couple seconds. We'll adjust our hands as needed, do a slow push up down, and then we'll perform 2 exercises from our front and back for our core on the floor. Big set here. Let's do our forward fold. Our chin will tuck. We'll slowly start rolling or rounding every vertebrae forward. As we do that, try to keep those blades together as long as you can so that we're actually bending through our spine and not just pretending by bringing our blades around the front of our body. As we roll forward, shift that weight into the forefoot. Do keep the heels touching the floor, but that forces the hips to remain the opposite of extended. Walk yourself out into your plank position. Here we go. Hips tuck under, connecting the ribs to the hips. Squeeze your cheeks. Pull yourself forward. As allowed, start pulling or drifting your shoulders towards over top of your fingertips to work on your wrist extension while maintaining your plank position. We're holding for another about 7 seconds. You're squeezing your cheeks. You're breathing underneath your ab shield. You're pulling your shoulders down. You're gripping the floor with your hands. We'll adjust our hands to a push-up position, shift as you need, and slowly press down to find the floor. Once we're on the floor, we'll stay in this prone position, extended arms out in front of us. I'd prefer you look down at the floor with your chin tucked, but I'm just going to look straight ahead for my mic. With my hands gently pressing into the floor, my arms pressing into the floor, you might have to adjust some things, and you're going to tuck those hips under to create space between the belly button and the floor. Your legs are tight together, pointed toes out the back. If I came through the screen and picked up your lower body, you'd go right pressed up into a handstand. Feel that tension. I like to push my arms in the floor as I do this, pressing into that handstand. 7 more seconds again. Breathe, hold. 4, 3, 2, and then slowly relax. We'll flip over to our backside and perform a similar but different activity. From our back, let's have our knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Our chin tucked, our arms at our side for now, palms face up. We're going to slowly progress this drill. Feel free to pause at any point in time and remain in the same position. With that neutral spine for our back, we're going to keep our chin tucked, but lift our head and shoulders up off the floor to connect our ribs and hips. You could stay here. If you wanted to add on, you could bring both knees up over those hips. If you wanted to add on, you could extend those legs out away from center. And if you want one more add on, bring those arms towards overhead and hold that quivering banana shape and breathe. Now this time, if I came through the screen and I tried to pull your legs apart, they wouldn't. And if I rolled you, you'd be one unit. And I could pick you up like a board for 5, 4, 2, pull everything back into center, and then relax. Whew. We'll get back up into our splits and go from there.
Excellent. Checking in. Splits is a quite aggressive position. We're aware. So do those small things like addressing your core line, addressing those ins and out actions of the hips, and maybe over time, that'll open up this pose. How do your hips feel? Your legs are wider in a stretchy, nice way here. So just hang out here for a couple more seconds, and we're going to discuss what's coming up next. We'll be doing some handstand entries.
Coming up next.
Handstand entries that will start with a 3-pointed down dog as we transition up from the floor here. Quick sets, just a little taste of what's maybe to come in the new year. How does this feel in that splits position? Maybe one more time, because it is around breakfast time. Let's just explore this movement called the pancake, keeping the spine long. Could you approach the floor? Maybe need some maple syrup on that, or maybe like jam instead. But take your time. Enjoy that pancake stretch. And as always, take your time coming out.
Nice.
From there.
Fluffy.
Ooh, fluffy buttermilk pancakes. That sounds good. From here, though, we're going to flip over to that 3-point plank, Lauren, and show us that down dog.
Okay, we're back to that plank position. As we did in that plank the last time, we're going to work on some wrist extension and then flicking the floor away up to our down dog with 3 points of contact. When we do that, we're going to make sure our hips stay square to the floor. So let's assume the plank position to start. Try to glide a little bit further into wrist extension. Now you're going to push forward to go back, and you're going to flick the floor away with a foot as you would in a handstand. Make sure your shoulders and hips are square to the floor. Breathe, reach to the sky, straighten that knee, both knees actually. Then pull yourself back through to your plank and hold for 3, 2, push forward, flick the other leg away. Square up, keep that leg straight. 3, 2, pull back through. One more time on each side. Flick. When you pull back through to that plank, make sure those hips stay relatively high in line with the shoulders and you don't drop and get saggy butt. One last time. Flick away. Stay square. Breathe, hold. And then pull to your plank. Hold for 4 extra seconds. 4, 3, 2. Knees soft landing. Whew. Take a second off. What did you have in mind next? Come on. Let's tuck our toes, walk our hands back towards our feet, and then slowly come up either the fold or the hinge to stand up tall.
There we go. So as we said, there are handstand entries. Other drills that we like to do that lead up to this handstand entry could be your elephant crawl, your lizard crawl, your high tension plank. Build the capacity for wrist extension, creativity and fun, but also progress your skills with patience, perseverance, and always aiming for perfection, which is like somewhere out there in the snow. So here we are, handstand entries, Lauren. Lauren's favorite entry is the tripod, so get going on that tripod there, Lauren, and I'll quickly describe. Either follow along with Lauren, listen to me, or follow along with me as Lauren cues you. This is that tripod kick up. It starts with 3 points. Little baby airs is Lauren's showing here first, and it's super quiet for efficiency and aesthetic, because that does matter too a little bit. So take your time in that tripod kick up and get used to the right weight, making sure we try to find that midnight. And I know Lauren's going to say the same for me, because I tend to overkick on this one.
Breathe too. Distribute your weight through your hand before you even kick up. So use all 10 fingers gripping the floor. That palm and callus line have tension into the floor, and you're distributing weight through all of it versus just right down through that 90-degree bend. Press the floor away to have your elevated shoulders. Practice your kick up in a safe way, so only going as high as you feel comfortable. Leaving that back leg behind you will allow you to always come down that way.
Just one set of that today, Lauren. What do you think?
Well, I really like it.
Okay, then go for 2. But listen to your body, and maybe 1 is just enough. Set yourself up for success and build the strength required to do multiple sets. But sometimes, like Lauren just did right there, it just gets better and better. Then the announcer jinx comes in, and sometimes it's...
Well, no, I'm just changing legs.
Changing legs. So then Lauren's trying something different now. She's got that scissor, but right now she's got that amazing point.
I've actually scissored the whole time.
Scissor, scissor.
I like to scissor my legs just so I practice using the leg that I don't want to use. On this, I recommend it. Obviously, we have that preferred side, as with everything. But do practice both legs and try to practice them evenly for a little bit. And then when you want to be really successful and it really counts, do the better one. Breathe. What time is it, Mr.
See.
2 o'clock.
And shake out those wrists. From handstands to squats, open up in your wide stance. Pull together, but don't go anywhere yet. That will be how we'll descend. Push away, but don't go anywhere yet. That will be how we stand up and stiffening the knees. Start pulling in again though. And this time, allow yourself to get towards your safe low. Push into the floor, extend those hips through. Grip with the toes, squeeze with the bum. And don't forget the brace with the core. 2 more. Slow and steady, think pulling down. How low can you go? Then press, extending those hips through with our bum cheek squeeze. And one last time, we'll pull ourselves down, taking your time to descend. Press to tall, and just for some extra fun in there, challenge your balances. Not just on your hands, but maybe on those toes too. Pull down, to undo or get together, and give it that little shake and wiggle. My favorite version of the handstand is the step through. So here I go.
Wait, just fix your mic. The step into handstand. I like to start with my arms overhead in that banana position that we started with, that we performed when we were on our back on the floor. So create a hollow shape before you enter. When you step in, you'll be pushing off a single leg, flicking the floor away, just as we did in that 3-point plank. Again, when you land on these hands, have them ready to absorb the floor and use all 10 of them to help you. Try to come at this at an up and over angle versus a 45.
Up and over. So Lauren starts with the arms extended and shoulders shrugged, toes pointed, rib cage connected to the hip. And again, Lauren's doing that beautiful scissor. Up with control and down. We want to accept the landing, fingertip, callus line in hand, and on the way up, flick it away like you're shooting a basketball free throw. Shake it out in between. Check in. Does that feel safe and strong for 2 sets? If so, let's go.
All right, round 2 here. So always practice being prepared before you enter. The elevated shoulders, the hollow engaged position, and then that flick of the floor away to press back up. Breathe occasionally. It's good. Push the floor away. And again, alternate that leg entry. It's harder on one side, I know, but practice both.
Get in the brain both ways, Lauren. That's exactly right. Start shrugging. Finish just as you started. Step into that toe ball heel on the entry, just like the fingertip callus line, full hand. 1 or 2 more repetitions. Don't forget to breathe. Again, last 1 or so. There you go. Stick in that nice vertical leg there, Lauren. Chico squats, Lauren, take us into it.
Okay. We'll step this time into slightly wider stance. I like my feet slightly turned out. Let's pull ourselves down. So feel that tension through the adductors as we pull ourselves low. Now from here, we're gonna press and land on a single leg. So you're gonna push and land. Right now, start with that foot touching your ankle. This leg stays straight. Point, hold, toe ball heel, land center. Other side, press, hold, knee to the side, knee stays straight, point, land center. Let's go up a little bit. Foot towards the knee, knee stays straight, point, land center. Up to the knee, straight, point, land center. Now we're gonna climb a little bit. That doesn't mean this knee is allowed to bend. It means it needs to stay straight. Hold, then land center. Last one, up. You know what I'm gonna say. Hold, land center. Whew. And shake it out.
Shaking
Great.
it out. Those are the two of many variations of that handstand entry and drills that we could share with a wall, with a couch, with a chair. But let's just leave it right there for right now. However, one last fun drill. Maybe for 1 minute or abouts, crawl like an elephant, or hold your high plank, or just watch for fun as we try for 1 minute to hold the ever elusive handstand. But it's for fun. So let's just have some seconds off here. In about 5 seconds, aiming to hold it for high quality rep, for fun and fitness. 3, 2, go for it. And sometimes it works better than others. Just look for that perfect groove. Ooh, maybe today is Lauren's day, not mine. And it's okay to keep trying, but practice integrity, and maybe rest is best sometimes. But maybe a couple repetitions will help you find that groove. Today was feels like a high gravity day. I'm going to blame the snow, but also celebrate the snow because
I'm going to say I had a pretty good
quite pretty out. It was quiet. It was quiet and very pretty. Let's return to the floor, maybe get in those splits and see what Lauren maybe has in store for us to finish with. Anyhow, there's no rules, but maybe you're working on that pistol squat or your super low campfire.
Let's not start in the splits, but let's start in this pike position with our legs pointed out front of us. Lightly, again, get on those cheeks. So reach those hips back behind you, point your feet out. Take a second. From here, we're gonna sit up tall. Leg grip on the floor, shoulders packed. Think about pulling a leg in, keeping the knee straight and lifting it up and holding. And then place it down. Repeat on the other side. Bring it in, lift it up, hold, place it down. All right, this time there are about 3 imaginary cones and we're gonna go up and over them, one at a time. In, lift up, over a cone, and down. Other leg. In, lift up, and down. In, lift up, and down. In, lift up, and down. We have 2 more. These cones might not be very far away. In, lift up, and open, and in, lift up, and open. Whew. Now, we're gonna stay up tall here. Breathe. Something crazy is gonna happen, it might not even work. I want you to think about staying where you are and trying to lift a leg off the floor. Ready, set, go. Lift, and down. And the other side. Lift, and down. Now, even more crazy. Ready, set, lift both. And down. Whew. Now, let's hang out here. Maybe come back to that light pancake with the tailbone tip to the ceiling. We'll gently rock forward or shift forward. Nice long spine. Breathe. We'll cruise from side to side. And then we'll press back up to tall. We're going to go back to those leg lifts, but we're going to start working our way back to center. Again, 3 to get us back there. Here we go. Lift. Bring it over a cone. Lift. Bring it over. Lift and over. Lift and over. Last 2. Lift and over. Lift and over. Now, lift and hold. And down. And up. And down. One more time each side. Single. And down. And single. And down. Now, as allowed, let's do some doubles for 2. Lift and hold. And down. And lift. And hold. And down.
Thank goodness.
Whew.
That's done. What a year. What a year to those who are sharing with us here on YouTube. So our patrons and our members and those YouTubers at large, thank you very much for joining us all season long here as we explored our body weight strength, mobility, and play. We'll be back next year with live content, so please register with your very own membership to exclusive content and link letters describing our weekly events and little nudges and cues for wellness and health for you. I'm Ian.
I'm Lauren.
Together, we stay strong with our bars, bells, and handstands.
Bodyweight.
You got it.
Thanks for joining us today. We wish you all the best over this holiday season. Take care, stay strong, and we'll train soon.
Train soon.
And also eat some cookies. Okay, goodbye.
Bye-bye.